This affecting Mrs. Clinton. Calls are growing louder for the Justice Department to open an investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of private email. This pressure comes as a government audit reveals hundreds of those messages contain potentially classified information. Now, remember, Clinton has always maintained that none of those emails had that information in them. Representative Darrell Issa asked Clinton about her personal email use back in 2012. He never got a direct answer. Listen to what he told Fox Business earlier today.
The question is, will Hillary Clinton come clean? Can we really get a forensic dive? And will she have herself held accountable for saying she knows about classified materials and didn't send them when, in fact, they were found on her computer? They're being withheld from the Benghazi committee by the State Department as classified information. Nothing could be more smoking gun than that.
I am joined now by Fred Barnes, executive editor at the conservative magazine The Weekly Standard, and Fox News political analyst and co-host of The Five, Juan Williams. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you. And Fred, I have to start with you on this. She began her speech today at the Stern School here in New York by talking about the news of the day, but she did not answer the email controversy. There's a lot of back and forth about whether or not this was illegal and whether there will be an investigation into illegal activity by Mrs. Clinton. Is that even possible in this political environment?
Well, it's possible, but I think it's really irrelevant whether this is a criminal investigation, as the Justice Department first said, or not a criminal investigation. What we see once again is Hillary Clinton has done something that she said she hadn't done. She has never answered honestly a single question about the emails and whether they were classified or not. Look, I was a private in the Army years ago, and I dealt with classified information. I could tell what was classified and what wasn't, even before it had been stamped one way or the other. She should have known. So any answers we're getting from her now or from her people, because she won't answer, are completely inadequate.
Well, and now we're looking at a potential inquiry into all of this. And Juan, look, they only looked at 40 emails. We're talking about thousands and thousands of emails, but they only looked at 40. And they found right off the bat, they found 4 that did contain classified information. So it's not so much about the denial. It's that as the Secretary of State, you don't do this. You needed to use a private server, and you didn't.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. And it's a matter of the Obama administration having told her, issued a policy for all cabinet members that told them they had to use the government server. So she was definitely in violation of administration policy. She was off on her own tangent there, and I think it's entitled behavior. She's Hillary Clinton.
Sure.
But the second thing to say is that according to the archivist, the people who keep the records, she didn't technically break any law because apparently there was access to the emails that were sent to other people in government and the like. But the question is whether or not the Justice Department, because I think this is a very serious step for those inspector generals to send this to the Justice Department. This is the beginning potentially of a criminal investigation that could upend the political campaign.
You know, I hate to say this, Fred, and I'm going to sound like negative Nelly when I do, but the thought of this administration or the Department of Justice going after Hillary Clinton because of emails, it seems a little far-fetched. Even if it was improper, even if it was illegal, that's a tough road to hoe, as my grandmother used to say, Fred.
Well, it is. But look, there were a couple of inspector generals who are permanent employees of the government, I assume, and they want to have gone ahead and done what was the honest thing to do and blown the whistle on Hillary Clinton here. So I don't think they were getting their orders from the White House, and so they responded honestly. And this is something, look, as these things go on and on and on, I think I have one person I would say get ready, and that's Joe Biden.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, get ready to run.
That's good. Well, let's talk a little politics. We got to hear with Mrs. Clinton. You know, I mean, she really went after the capital gains tax. I mean, she really is banging the drum against Wall Street, against investors. It seems to me this is good old politics, and this is what you do. You go completely left or whatever party you're is, and you secure the nomination, and then in the general election, you get a little more center. Isn't that kind of the game she's playing, which is as old as politics itself right now?
It is, and it's very interesting because it's tied into this space of the campaign, which is a lot about fundraising, Cheryl. Mm-hmm. And so what you see is that she's been doing okay with Wall Street. She hasn't been doing that well with the grassroots small-time contributions.
But I think the entitled thing
right,
that Fred mentioned.
And the difficulty for her, I think, is that the Elizabeth Warren wing, the Bernie Sanders' wing of the Democratic Party is pushing hard against Wall Street and suspects that, in fact, as the former New York senator, she's in bed with Wall Street. So they have questions about it. She has to push back on Wall Street right now if she has any hopes of ever winning support from that grassroots
publicly
base.
Though, Fred, publicly. And you know that this, you can just imagine this happening. It's like a movie. She's publicly saying those evil Wall Street guys, and then she's down here on Madison Avenue in somebody's office going, oh, don't worry about it. I don't mean that. No. Don't worry, guys. We're going to be fine. All your interests are going to be taken care of. Once I'm president, donate now.
Yeah, well, look, she can tell him, well, look, I'm just saying this because this policy on capital gains will never be enacted, and it never will be because it's ridiculous. I mean, here you have a slow economy, so she's going to double the capital gains rate. She knows better because back in her husband's administration, when the capital gains rate was dropped in 1997 from 28 to 20%, the economy soared. It spurred the economy incredibly. So she knows what produces economic growth, and it's not this.
Oh, Fred Barnes, Juan Williams. I think all of us are going to have a lot of fun. Bring on 2016, guys. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Sharon.
You're welcome.
All right.